Hi, how are you? I hope you are doing well this Saturday. I hope your day is going on well, and I'm grateful for you for staying tuned and for waiting up until this time to get into this program where we are talking of the free online ArchiCAD course that we are offering to all our subscribers and all our viewers wherever they are. I wish to welcome you. I wish to invite you so that you join in me in this session. This is my third live stream session where we are discussing or we are giving skills that are related to drafting using using ArchiCAD. That is, it's an online free online course where we are inviting everybody to join in, all our subscribers. We are trying to share whatever we have in our knowledge so that everybody can be able to benefit from this program. Otherwise, I wish to welcome you. This is the live stream from Technical Training Channel. It's a channel that deals with educational content because we are trying to boost and to generate content that is useful to all trainees in the TVET industry, so that we can also try to contribute to the youths of this country in terms and in quest for knowledge, especially in construction field. Otherwise, I wish to welcome you. Feel free to comment or to engage me on the live chat button, so that in case of any question, in case of any comment, you can just give it directly through the live chat button. Today we'll be dealing with drafting and detailing most probably the floor plan, because we will just be drafting. We are not designing. Our aim is to train and teach our subscribers, our online viewers, on how to use ArchiCAD to draft and to produce building drawings, to produce working drawings for execution in the site. There we are. I've already shared my screen. Now I just want to project the workspace, the ArchiCAD workspace, so that we move together. So this is the ArchiCAD workspace, and we've discussed about the workspace in the last sessions that we have had. The first and the second session, we've dealt with the introduction to ArchiCAD, and we've looked at whatever is in this workspace, the toolbox, the palettes, and in case you've not been able to watch our previous sessions, this is your first session, so I would wish to invite you that once we are done with this session, you can go back in our live stream section or even in our playlist and watch our first and second session on this free online ArchiCAD course. Remember, we said from our first session that for those who would wish later on maybe even to acquire a certificate from our channel, from our training, this online training channel, we will be able to do that, and we will be guiding on the way and how to be able to get those certificates. Therefore, today we are looking at how we can draft and detail a floor plan, and that is basically what we'll be doing. We are just using a sample floor plan and trying to reproduce the same using the skills in ArchiCAD. We see how we can generate another floor plan of this nature. This is just a sample of a floor plan, and just as I said before, we are not drafting. We are just reproducing this drawing now in CAD, and it's the same thing, because even if you have a design in hard copy, you just require the skills in ArchiCAD and draft it to convert it to an ArchiCAD drawing or to a soft drawing. Therefore, let us begin, and we will first of all begin by looking at the plan that we have, trying to identify a few things and trying to actually to understand where we begin and how do we move on to understand some of the components within this plan. And I think with that we'll be able to start. So first of all, this plan is a floor plan of a residential building, and we are using it to just sharpen our skills or to demonstrate how actually you can use CAD to draft this floor plan. So the plan has the wording, the components of the wording, and that is our starting bit. We'll start with generating the walls, then we'll bring in the other aspects, the windows, the doors, the furnitures, the roof work. So we will start with the wording, but the most important thing to understand is that we've already been given the dimensions, maybe from one wall to the other wall, the internal dimensions, the spaces, the internal dimensions that define the spaces. We are also given some dimensions that will help us to position our windows, will help us to position our doors within this floor plan. So then, having said that, we'll just move on straight and start drafting and start generating this design in a new area, because this is just a reference. It's just a guide to show us or to give us whatever, or to direct us on whatever you want to draw this afternoon. Therefore, just as I said, what we'll do is that we will start with the wall, and just as we said from our first session, is that we will start by setting up. If you want to use the wall, we will start by setting up the wall, setting up all the details, setting up the settings for the wall, and that will help us now to start and starting the drafting. So therefore, I will pick the wall icon from my toolbox, and then I will open it from the information box. I'll just click again, so that it gives me this dialog box that will help me to do the settings for the wall. Definitely, the first one is the height, and if you are dealing with a default workspace for the ArchiCAD, we will definitely need to change the wall top, because we are saying that the wall top, as we even said earlier, should be you need to choose not ringed, so that and that will enable you to be able to set the height of the wall, and I will still maintain my height as 2700. Then we have these three icons here, the structure basics, and we said for you now to be able to set the thickness of the wall, if the structure basic is other than this first one, the basic one, then you will not be able to set the thickness of the wall. So you need to change it to the basic structure, so that you're able now to change the wall to a thickness of 200. And then again, we also talked of the reference line, and we said it's important, or it's advisable that you choose the center one, and that for the time being we'll do. Later on, we'll see more settings when we come even to adjust and try to set the 3D. So therefore, those three will be enough for now. And then once you've done the settings, we will have now to identify the major walls from the design that you are working on. So we are working on this design, and on the x-axis we have three major walls. We have three major walls, and those are the ones that we'll start with. Again, we also have other walls that are running horizontally. So we'll start with one that is on the y-axis, and another one that is on the x-axis. We just draw a wall arbitrarily using Shift key. We hold it down to make it straight, and then we do another one that is horizontal. So this wall will give us the first wording in this design, and the one that is horizontal will generate as the first one here. So we will continue with these walls, and they are the ones that we will move from one position to the other to be able to generate the other walls within this design. And let us start with this one so that we move horizontally and see how we generate the other walls. So from this wall, we know that this distance here we are given as 3000 millimeters, and therefore definitely we know our wall is 200, and the next one again is still 200, and we have an internal diameter of 300. So what it means is that when we are moving this wall to a new position to create this space of 3000 millimeters, we need to add 200 to the 3000 so that we incorporate the thickness of the wall, and therefore we will move this wall to a distance to a distance of 3,200 millimeters, and that will have included the thickness of the wall, so that we are left with an internal diameter of 3000. Just as we saw in our last session, for us to move a copy of this wall, we will need to insert the command for dragging a copy, and we said the command for dragging a copy is Control-Shift-D from our keyboard. So Control-Shift-D, then we click on the object that we want to move, and again now you need also to be careful. You need to make sure that this is the only wall that is selected, because if again there is another wall that is selected here, then it will move both walls. So we need to ensure that this is the only wall that is selected, and then now we can put the command for dragging a copy, Control-Shift-D from our keyboard. Then we displace it with your click on it and displace it a little bit. Then using Shift key, you hold your Shift key down, and then you press R. That is Shift R, and that will activate the dimension tab, and then we can put our dimension 3200, and then you press Enter from your keyboard. Press Enter from the keyboard, and then this distance, now the distance in between the two walls is 3000 millimeters, and maybe later on we will confirm, we'll put dimensions to confirm that that is 3000. Then we do the same on the other wall to achieve another wall that is 4000. So again we drag this wall to a distance of 200, because we need to include the outer wall, and that will give us 4200. So therefore again Control-Shift-D, then you click the wall that you want to move to a new place, then you press Shift R, and then you input 4200, and then you press Enter, and that will give you, you establish those two walls as they are from this drawing. Again from the other side, from the back side, we can see that this wall and this wall are lying at different planes. So we will later on adjust the walls, and then so that we are able to achieve whatever is at this point. Then we do the same to the vertical walls, and we'll start with this wall, and we know that the first wall at this point comes at a distance of 1900. So 1900 plus 200, that gives us 2100, and then we will need to move this wall to 2100. So the process is the same. You select the wall, you input the command for dragging a copy, Control-Shift-D, then you press Shift R to input the dimensions, and you say that we need 2100, that we are able to achieve 1900 internally. Then we move to the next wall, which is 1500 from this one, so that will give us we'll input 1700. Then the other one is at 2200, so we drag a copy of this wall, Control-Shift-D, press the wall, then we put Shift R, that will give us 2400. Then the last one is at 4400, so we'll do this is 4400. Again, it's important to check how the dimensions have been put, and we can see this 4400 is to the edge of the wall, so we'll just put 4400, so that internally we have 42. Then again, Control Shift D, press this wall, Shift R, 4400. Then we press enter. And there we are. We've established the major walls that will define this design. And what we need to do now is to, first of all, delete the ones that they are not important for us. Trim the ones that are not important, so that we are left with the walls that we require. And just as we saw last time, for us to be able to trim, what we will do is we will hold Control key from our keyboard. We just hold it down, and then we can now cut the walls that we do not want, the ones that are not included in our design. So we'll just cut all of them, especially the ones that are from the edges, so we are sure that we do not need those ones. Again, at this point, we can see that we don't have this wall here and this, so we just cut that one and we cut that one. So we need that, we need that, we need that, and we need this other wall. Then at this point, again, we do not need these two walls, so we'll just cut them down, just trim them, so that we are left with this space where we have the lounge and the dining hall. It's just a single space. And then again, now we can see that at this point we have another wall from the one that is defining the dining. We have another wall at 1200. So internally this is 1200, so we add 200, that should be 1400. So we will use this wall so that we can be able to generate the other one that defines the shower and the WC. So that way we will now drag this wall. We just select it, Control Shift D, click on the wall and then displace it. Then you press Shift R, and then we type 1400, so that we are left with 1200 internally. Again, we know this wall, we don't need it from this end, so we just trim that one. Again, from this end, again, we can tell that the WC, we do not need this wall. We do not need this wall, but we have another wall here that we need to input, and we can generate this wall from the outer one, the one that is defining the master bedroom. And that one, we can see the distance there is 3900. So we just put 41, because 39 plus 200, that will give us 41. Therefore, we can drag this wall, Control Shift D, drag a copy, Shift radius 4100. Then we press enter. Then of course we know we do not need that part and we do not need that part. Now we have that wall, we have the rest of the walls as they are from our design. Maybe at this point it's important for us to cross-check whether our walls are aligned to the design, But maybe before we do that, we have another wall here that is defining the washroom, the WC. So we can get this wall from the outside one, or we can even get it from this wall. So we just use the outer one, 1800 plus 200, that is 2000. You can drag a copy from this wall. This should give us Shift radius 2000, give us that space defining the WC. And we will just test it and see whether we've been able to get the spaces as they are. So now we can put the dimensions. So we go to the document, and the toolbox document to give us the dimension line. Again, it's good also to check the settings, and we can see that from our dimension default setting pop-up box, we have various settings that we can do. First one is that we know we are dealing with what type font of the type of font, Arial. So if you need to change, you can select from quite a range of numbers that are here. Maybe you can choose Times New Romans. We have the size 2.2. This is generally the normal 0.2 pen that was being used previously manually to draft. Maybe we can use a 0.3. Bold, don't want to underline. The marker, I think we can just use that one. That one is okay with me. I think we do not need pointers and the rest, so that is enough for the time being. And then we just press OK, and then now we can for us to put the dimensions, we'll just click on this wall, click on that wall, click on this other wall. Then these dimensions will come at this point. So we double click there and then we click again. So this gives us 39. The other one is 31. This is 39, 31. So that one is okay. And you can cross check from this other side, on the right hand side. So this is 6,000. That is 6,000, 12 and 3,000, 1,200, and this is 3,000. Let's see why. So this should be 3,000, 1,200, 3,000. So in case you find that there are errors and you find that there are some dimensions that have not aligned with the correct dimensions here, so you just need to adjust the wording. And what you do, for us to achieve 3,000 here, we will just select that wall and then just drag it. Control D, we drag it, shift radius 200, enter, and that now gives us 300. So therefore you notice that the other walls that we are joining to these ones now are hanging. So what we do, we will just select the 3 walls and then adjust them to intersect with the one that we've just moved. So and for us to do that, we will just deactivate the cursor of the mouse, and then we using you click the first wall, you select the first wall, and then now to add the other 3, you just press shift and hold, and then you click the other 2 walls and you have selected all the 3 walls. Alternatively, you can deactivate your cursor, then click on the empty space, and you have a box that hovers over the 3 walls, and then you click and the 3 walls will be selected. And then for us now to adjust this wall so that it intersects with this wall that we have adjusted, we will just come and click on the adjust tool, click on the adjust tool, and then remember our walls, we chose reference line that is at the center. So if you put your cursor over the wall at the center, you can tell that once it reaches the center of this wall, the cursor changes from a cursor that has another symbol telling you that you are at the center of the wall. So you just click there and the 3 walls will align with that center line and they will intersect at that point. And that's how we adjust to achieve the dimensions that we required. And that one now gives us 3,000. So again, we can cross-check on this other side. Again, we pick the dimension line and then we hover over that wall. We click on that wall, we click on that wall, double click, and then click again. This gives us 4,000 and 3,000. This is 4,000 and 3,000. Then we do the same on this other side just to confirm and see whether we have the dimensions as required. So you step on all the walls that you want to insert dimensions on. Then on this side you double click and then you click again, and that will give us 1900, 15, 22. This is 19, 15, 22, and again 44. And therefore we are sure now that our walls are aligned as we have been given in this design. Then from there we move on and we input the windows, because now we already have our wallings in place. So now we can move on and do our windows. From this drawing, we can see that this window at this point has a width of 1,500, and therefore we will move to the window from the toolbox and select a window that is 1,500, and we will insert it at that point. This window is right from the edge of this corner, and that one will be able to do that. Then the next one is again 1,500. It's the same window, but again it's 28 100 millimeters from this window. So that is what we want to put, and see how we can insert this window at 100 millimeters from this previous one. So let's start with that one at the corner, and we've said that we want to select a window from the toolbox. You just open the window default setting box and select a window that we feel will suit our design, and maybe we can just put this one and then adjust the size. This window has a size of 2000 width, and we know we need a window that is 1500. We can maintain the 1500 because we know that our beams, we'll set our beam at 2400. That's where it will start with a depth of 300, so that our headroom will be 2700, just as we did when we are setting the walling. And therefore, so if you would have our windows terminating at 2400, then 2400, if you deduct the height of the window, that should give us 900. Now from the slab to where the window starts, that should give us 900. That's what we will input there, and then we just do those minimal settings. Later on we will see other settings, because this is just a simple floor plan to enable us to start, and then from there we just press OK, and we have our window which is 1500 by 1500, and then we input it at that point. But again, we know that we needed to start from the edge, so we'll just select deactivate our cursor and then select the window, and then we drag Control D. We pick it from one of its node, and then we drag it until it reaches the end. It reaches that edge of the wall, and we'll have achieved that aspect. That is, we have that wall, that window at that point. Then we have another window. It is 2800 from this window. So what we will do is that we will just select this window. We drag a copy, Control Shift D, then we displace it at a distance of shift radius 2800, but you'll find that we did not achieve the exact distance, simply because I've used this point to reference to displace my window. I've picked it from this point, so I should have picked it from this point, and it should have given us 2800. But that should not be a major cause of worry, because what we can do is we can use again the dimension line, check what this distance is. So it's 1300. We needed to achieve 2800, so we can just drag this window again to a distance of 1500, so that we achieve 2800. And there we are. We have our window at 2800 from the previous one. Then we can just delete that one. Then we have the other window at the WC, which has a width of 800, and therefore we will just go and because this is a window to the shower, so it's not just a normal window. We just do another setting, pick another window, do settings for the windows, for the window for the shower, and then come and insert it. That is actually 250 millimeters from this wall. So therefore we'll go back to our window. We open the window settings, and we said you can click the window once, then you open it through the information box, or you can double click the window at the toolbox for you to be able to see the dialog box for the default settings. So if you double click, the default settings will be opened, and then you can select another window that we'll use now to put at the shower. And maybe we can just use this one. Again, this one is 1500. We know from our drawing we need a window that is 800. Then now we need to adjust the height from the slab. And definitely the shower window is usually not very usually has a lower height compared with the rest. You can adopt a height of maybe 600, and then 600 from 2400, because we said our windows terminate at where the beam starts at 2400. So therefore 2400 minus a depth of 600, a height of 600, that should give us 1800 from the slab. This is 600, and then we adjust the distance from the slab to the start of the window as 1800. So that when you add 1800 plus 600, that should give us 24 where the beam starts. And then we'll come now and insert it at this point. Again, we know we want it to be at a distance of 250 millimeters from this wall, because you can see this wall is 200, and then between this wall and the window we have a distance of 250. So we will just select that window, drag it until it touches that corner, and then now we can displace it to a distance of 250 millimeters. We want to drag it, Control D, Shift Radius, Shift R, 250, and then we enter. That way that window now is positioned 250 millimeters from this wall. And then finally, those are the 3 windows that we needed to set on that wall. And maybe now we can even cross-check using our dimension, right? See whether we've been able to achieve that. Again, you do not have to keep on coming back to the toolbox to be able to pick the parameters for the dimensioning. You can still use the pick parameters tool, this tool here, pick parameters, or you can hold alt key from your keyboard, and it will give you the pick parameter tool, and then you can just click on the parameters that you want to pick. So if I click on this dimension, right, so my cursor now is already engaged using dimension, and therefore I can pick my dimensions from that edge to that edge of the window, to this edge of the window, this edge of the window. Now I'll also pick the wall, I'll pick this window, I'll pick the edge of this window again, and then I will maybe pick that wall and this other wall, and that will give me the dimensions again. So we were confirming the dimensions, and we can see that our window is 1500. Then we have 2800 from this window to the next one, then 200 for the walling, then 800 for the window, 200 for the distance between the window and the wall, and the rest as indicated from our plan. So that's how we insert the windows, and we will continue and do the same on the other side. Luckily for this side, the windows are starting from the edges. Again, we'll pick a window 15 millimeters wide, and then the other one is 12 millimeters wide. So therefore I will just pick the parameters for this window and insert it on this part, insert it at this point, and this window again should start from the edge of the wall. Then I will use the same window and change the settings to 1200 from the information box. I'm able to do that, change to 1200, and that will help me to insert, will help me to get the window parameters that I'm supposed to insert at this point. Again, I will insert it at that edge, and then now of course we know that this window is supposed also to start from the edge, so I'll just select that window, then Control D to drag, and then pick at the window at the node, and push it until, drag it until it touches the edge of that wall, and that way I will have that window at that point. And then we can see we have still the same window here at 1200 from this edge, so I'll just insert another window at that point, using the same parameters, using the same window. So just put a window here, and then I'll drag it so that it starts from this edge. So just select the window, Control D to drag, pick it from the node, and then drag it until it touches that point. And therefore I have my windows placed as required from the plan that is given. Then on this window we have another window there. This is actually it's a window that is 1500 by 1500. So we'll just pick the one that we were using previously, and then we'll insert it at this point. Again, that should give us a distance of 750 from this wording, 750 from this wording. So therefore I'll just pick the window, the parameters of this window, because this was 1500. I'll use my pick parameter tool or hold Alt on the keyboard and pick the parameters of that window, and then I'll just come and insert this window here. Again, for me to ensure that it's 750 from this wall, I will just select the window. I drag it first until it touches this edge. Make sure that it touches the edge completely. And then I will now displace it 750 millimeters. Control D for dragging. I will pick this wall, the window, and then insert shift radius 750. And that way my window will be at 750. Sorry, I've inserted on the wrong window, so we need to shift it to this window. So again, we can just pick the window, put it at this point. Again, I don't need to repeat the whole process. I can still select that window. I insert command for dragging, Control D, and then I will drag and align it with this window, and that way I know it's now already 750 from this wall. And then I will delete the previous one. So I just select it, right click on the empty space and choose delete. So there we are. We've done our walls on this side and on the front side, and therefore we will do the same on this other side. But for this side we are not given the dimensions, so I'll just put them arbitrary to achieve this these windows here. So again, we know we have this window. Again, it's 1500 at the bedroom. We are not given its correct position, so I'll just position it around that point. Then on this other side we are given the dimensioning, so we'll just use whatever we are given. But we know we have another window here where we have the kitchen. We have another window where we have the kitchen. We can just assume that that window is 1200 or maybe 1000. You can just use 1000, and we input it at that point. We are not given the correct positioning, so we just assume that it's at that point. But again, we have a door there. We will insert a door, but first of all we wind up with the windows. Again, we know we have another window, 15 millimeters, 1500 millimeters wide, which is at 1200 millimeters from this wall. So again, I will pick, using my pick parameter tool, I will pick that window. I will insert it, just insert it there arbitrarily. Then I will drag it until it touches this wall, and then we drag it now 1200 millimeters. Control D, 1200 millimeters. Shift R, insert the dimension, then press enter, and that way you have your window at 1200 millimeters. Then we do the other window. Again, it's at 800 millimeters from this walling. So I will just do the same. Insert that window there. Then I will drag it until it touches that edge. Then I will drag it 800 millimeters, Control D, shift radius, 800 millimeters, and then I will press enter to be able to place it at that point. So therefore we have our windows. Our windows are already set now, and now we can move and do the settings for the doors. And from the doors we can see we have this door here, we have another door here, we have another one for the interior to allow us to get into the different spaces. So therefore we will start with this door here at the entrance porch. This is an entrance porch, so basically we know that we have on these walls, we have an arch there, we have another arch here. We will deal with them later on, but we can do this door first. So we can do this door first and then the other doors before we come to the arches. So therefore for us now to be able to input the doors, we will again go to our toolbox, activate the doors. We will choose this door, and then from our preview box we can see that this door is 900 by 2400. 900 by 2400, and I think from our settings this is okay for us, because actually our door should terminate where the beam starts, and our beam starts at 2400, and therefore we can still maintain it at 900. Then we'll just maintain that settings, and then we'll come and insert the door at that point. The direction that the door is supposed to open, you have to define it with the cursor, whether it's internally, whether it's to the outside, whether it's on the left or right hand side. And for this case, our door is opening towards or against this wall, and that's where we will put it. Again, we have another door for the toilet, for the bedrooms, so we'll just use the same door, 900 by 200. We'll come and insert our door here for the washroom. We have another door for that bedroom, and then we have another door for this bedroom. And you can see how the openings are done. This one is opening against this door, the other one is opening against this door, and then we have one that is opening to the outside from the kitchen. We just use the same size for the kitchen door that is opening to the outside, put it there. That gives us the kitchen door that is opening to the outside. Therefore again you will notice that we have at this point we have an opening that doesn't have a door, and again also we have another opening here for the kitchen. So we just go back to the openings and select an opening that doesn't have a door, and this one we'll find it under the windows. So you open the windows again, this time not the doors. We just look for the empty window opening, and from this setup you can just pick one of these, the ones that suits your design. So for us we'll pick ellipse top, and then we have the opening is 1000 millimeters wide. We can still keep that one for the entrance towards the bedroom, and then a height of 2400, because remember we said it's almost the size of a door because it's a door. And then again within the slab and the opening itself, we do not have anything, so that should give us should be 0. And then we will come and put it at that point, just as it has been done on this part. And then we'll still have another opening for the kitchen. This opening for the kitchen is a little bit wider. We can just choose 1500. We are not given from the drawing, so we are just putting our own settings. So we just pick 1500, and there we have that opening at 1500. And therefore that's how we input the doors, that's how we input the windows, that's how we input the door and the windows. And then from there we can even generate we can even view this in 3D format and be able to see how it's coming out. And for us now to be able even to view this in 3D, we will use our marquee. We'll use our marquee icon, and the marquee icon has 2 formats. We have the one that is a little bit thin and the one that is thick. So for this time we'll choose the one that is thick. We'll later see how the thin one is used, and then we just surround the area that we want, because we don't want to pick this, we just want to pick whatever we've done and see how it's coming out. And then once you surround it with the marquee, you just you right click on the empty space and then select show selection marquee in 3D, or a shortcut of F5. But just click here and that should give us that design, so that we are able to see how it's coming out. So again, if you use your scroll key on your mouse, you are able to expand it or to zoom in and out. And then from this standard bar here at the bottom of your window, we have this icon known as orbit. This helps us now to rotate it into different angles, and we are able to see how the design is coming out, or the works that we've been doing, the wording, the doors, the windows. We are able now to visualize and see how they are coming out. So at this point is where we'll have to put our openings. That is the arches for the entrance porch. That's where we will put our arches for the opening for the entrance porch. That's why it's just a massive wall. We don't have any opening there for the time being, because we've not worked on this place. But we can see the doors to the various parts, or to the various rooms, the various spaces that we've provided. And therefore now, for us to get back to the workspace, to the floor plan, we can just go directly from the navigator. We just double click on the ground floor, and it will take us to the layout, to the floor plan layout. So there we are. Then now we can remove the marquee. We right click on the empty space and then we pick remove marquee, and that way we have removed the marquee, so that we can continue. So we need to put an arch at this point. Again, we already had selected an arch at some point, so we can pick this arch, and we know at this point this is 300, so we can do an arch that is about 2500 millimeters, or maybe even 2000 wide. So we can just input 2000 wide from the information box, and then we put our opening there. On this other side again, we see it's 1500, so we can just put an opening that is a little bit smaller than the 15. We can pick 1200 and then input our arch there. And then even if we can go back to our 3D using our marquee again, show selection, marquee in 3D. Now we can see we have our arches. We have our arches on those two walls. We have our arches on those two walls. Then later on, we will see how we can do more decorations around that area with the arches. And because you can see, we even have we have a column. Maybe later on, we'll see how we can do that column. But now we've been able to do the wording. We've been able to insert the windows. We've been able to insert the doors, the openings that are empty. We've already seen how we can insert the dimensions. Again, then the other bit is to insert the labels, the room labels, whether it's around the dining room and the rest. So we just go to our toolbox. From the document section, we pick text, and then again we can still do settings for the text. You can see our lettering has at 2.5 millimeters. So I think we can do 3 millimeters. Again, they are bolded. If you want them italic, underlined, you can set that. You can even set the color from this point. I think that is basically the minimum settings that we can do for the text. Then we just click OK. And then now for us to be able to type on these spaces, we just double click. At that point, it will enable us to type, and then we will just type our label that is round. Again, now this is a bedroom. And this again, this is bedroom. So you can, if you want to adjust it a little bit, just use the normal drag command, Control D, drag it to where you want, the correct positioning. Then you do not need to write again another one. You can drag a copy, Control Shift D, drag a copy for this bedroom because the labels are similar. This again is a kitchen. Just type kitchen. Again, you can just select it and adjust it, position it the correct point where you want it. This is an entrance porch. You can just you can even change the font to small or caps. That is entrance porch. We just type normally the way we do even in our Word document that we are used to. Again, we can just position it there. We can change the size even to 2 millimeters depending on the space that we are labeling. Depending on the space we are labeling. Again, now we can see that the spaces also we've defined the floor finish, the ceramic tiles. So again, we will use the same text tool. Then this we can change to a little bit a smaller setting, a smaller size, that is maybe 1.5. Again, we can change the color. And then we now do ceramic tiles. And just select it, Control D, adjust it so that it's closer to the label. Again, we can drag a copy of the same, Control Shift D, put it near the porch, Control Shift D again for drag a copy, put it to the kitchen, Control Shift D for drag a copy, put it under the bedroom and under the other bedroom. So we already have now our labels. Again, we know we have the label for the WC and the shower because there's a combined WC and shower. So we can just use the one for 2 millimeters. Just use the pick parameter tool and pick the parameters from the entrance porch. Or we said we can do that by using this icon at the top here, and then click on this label, or you can hold your Alt key from your keyboard and then click on the label that we want to pick parameters, and then again now we can type at this point in small letters WC stroke shower stroke shower. Again we can change it. We can see this is at 0 degree horizontally. We can put it at 90 degrees by adjusting the degree at the information box, which is now we can put 90. That it sits in a different orientation at point. And there we are. We have our labels. Again, we can also put our raw finish label, again at an angle of 90 degrees. And then we position it properly by use of drag command. Again, we can change the size, maybe to 1 millimeter, size 1 of the font. Then change the labeling again a little bit to suit the space that we are labeling. And there we are. We have our floor plan. We've been able to, so far we've been able to do the walling. We've been able to do the windows, the doors, the room labels. We've been able to do that, and then now we can move on and do the furniture layout. We can do the furniture layout. Again, for us to be able to do that, we will need to, we'll go to our toolbox. Under design, we choose the object. We choose the object, just as we saw the other time. Under object, we still have so many objects. We have the basins, we have the bathtub, we have the sinks. All those are there. If you scroll along this preview window, you can see we have the furnishings, we have the appliances, we have the, if you click, you are able to see whatever is housed in each of these: beds, cabinets, chairs, couches, decorations, furniture layout. All of them are here, and you are able to see them. Kitchen cabinets, mechanical equipment, all of them are here. So for us, we want to first of all, we want to get sort out our bedrooms. So we deal with the bed. We choose our bed, the one that we want. We want this format. We can still adjust it even at this point, changing its directions from the preview box here, depending with how we are supposed to position it on our floor plan. So that orientation will be okay. So we can adjust the size. So this is 1200 by 2000, and then of course the height 800. That could be too much, so we need it to start from 0, so that it should rest on the floor. And later on, there are more details that we can adjust. There are more settings that we can adjust. We have the headboard. We can adjust the wood finish. We can adjust more fields here. We can adjust the various, the pillow type, and the rest. But we'll do that later on in detail. For now, we just want to do maybe the minimal settings, so that we are able to get the skills first. Later on, we will deal with more settings. So therefore, we just, once the settings are okay, just come and click where you want to bed, We've placed our bed there, and we'll do the same to the rest of the other furnitures, to the rest of the other products that are there, the sinks and the rest, and we'll just put them and position them within this floor plan. And maybe because the process is the same, for the sake of us saving time, so it just can just select the ones that are within the layout that you are given, the design that you are given, and just drag a copy of the same and position them, insert them in the design that we are working on. Because it's the same thing, the process is the same. Just go to the object, do the settings, and come and insert them within the object. So, but again, even if in future you have the same work, you can just copy it from an existing drawings and then place it on the one that you are working on. So I'll just select the objects within this design, and then I'll just drag them and position them in this one that we are working on. So I've selected them. I'll just pick a reference point, maybe this point here, this corner. I've selected them. I've selected all the objects that I want to move a copy of. Then I'll do Ctrl+Shift+D, drag a copy. Then I'll pick this point as my reference point, and then I just use it to come and position the objects in this design. And we'll have inserted all the other objects that we have in this design. So that is one way. If you have an existing design, you can use it to come and just input those furnitures within a new design that you are working on. And maybe finally, as we wind up, we can look at how we can do the fields, because we can see at this point at the entrance porch we have this field, and we also have this field for the kitchen. And for us to do that, we just go to the field icon on the document, the field icon, and then you just select the field that you want. We have quite a number of fields here. Just select the one that you will represent whatever you want, and then just come and insert it. Like for the entrance porch, just press your spacebar, and click, and it will insert it within that space. I think with that we'll just stop the position. Thank you.